when it's needed. I don't do it liberal. You know, it's not
I think, doesn't it? Well, I've not recently seen anybody fall off their chair as a result of it.
No,
so
that's
I
fine.
think
I'll get up and leave. So.
You mentioned quite a lot in your sets about young farmers and the local community.
Yes, aye.
So that's obviously a key part of farming.
Oh,
but also
absolutely.
Specifically for you, like the local community have supported you in your comedy, but also in your farming over the years.
Yes, good neighbours. And I think it's difficult now because my neighbour Davy down the road, he's a tenant farmer like us, but with the last kind of remaining tenants around here, because there's a lot of, it's all big estates traditionally. You know, when an old farmer retired, they would just take it in hand. So there's less and less, you know, farming families. Yeah. So there is less folk you can call on, you know. Even less a community spirit, a wee bit.
Yeah.
Like the primary school, for example, and I went to it, it was be 50 pupils, and now I think it's struggling. It's only about 24. Gosh. This farm road alone, there's 3 farms up it and 5 houses. And when my sister Caroline started primary school back in 75, no.
I don't think she'll be very happy with
78, that. Sorry, 78. Sorry, Caroline.
She probably doesn't want you to mention any numbers at all.
Way back in the late 70s, the minibus used to come up to this corner of the house and pick up.
There's enough people for them to pick up.
And there's no kids now between the other side of the road as well. There's another 2 farms up there, or traditional was 2 farms.
Yeah.
There's no kids. So, and I was feeling guilty about Glendale maybe shutting down, but now I can say, well, if it just
make a positive contribution yourself.
If it just stays open for another 5 years.
And is the young farmer still quite vibrant in this area?
Aye. A local club, Bank Foot, I'm very proud of them. They've actually just won the national speech making for the second time in about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So they'd never won it ever, and then they've always been a small club, but beautifully formed. I said they've got the members that they do have are superb. So I'm vice president, but I haven't. Well, I'll get to the AGM next week. I haven't been at a meeting for ages, but they had their 70th anniversary there. So they managed to attract a lot of folk from Perth that maybe come up from different areas, and that was the joke at the top table. It was all immigrant workers, the man said, because the secretary's, I think, from Dumfries, and the assistant secretary's from Elgin, and the chairman himself's up from the south.
So you've solved the diversity problem in one fell swoop.
Absolutely.
You mentioned just there one of your sisters. I know you have 2 sisters.
Yes,
aye. Have you always been the joker in the family ever since you were wee? Are you the youngest?
Yes,
Yeah. So were you always the wee brother that was the joker? Yeah. You obviously at pains to highlight.
Oh, I'm only joking. There's only 4.5 years between the 3 of us. So. No. Claire and Caroline have a good sense of humour as well. Caroline's very good at telling a funny story, actually. Even Mum and Dad and that liked a joke as well, so there was always a bit of hilarity. We used to grow a lot of tatties, and so we're always brought up, you know, either dressing tatties in the winter or Rogan tatties in the summer. And as anyone that's done these 2 jobs, they're a bit monotonous, so you need a bit of humour, so especially Rogan tatties. So Claire and I would always be at the kind of dragging our heels a bit, going up and down these drills, but going over Victoria Wood sketches or something, or Scottish and Rye.
So it's obviously been there since the early days. Yeah.
But I certainly wouldn't say at school I was a class clown. I was very quiet, actually, and just buckled down and got on with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't the joker at all, really.
And are you still in touch with some of your schoolmates? What do they think about this?
A wee bit. No, I didn't really. Any mates I did have were farmers' sons, so I see them now and again.
Yeah.
You know, we just kind of because we just because especially at high school, everyone was into. Well, I do that joke about everyone being into Nirvana and me not knowing who Nirvana were. A lot of guys from school would go into Dundee on a Saturday and just go about into the Overgate or whatever it was. I just wanted to help Dad here, so we never did that kind of thing. But we all joined Young Farmers about 16. That was our thing, you know.
I don't suppose you spend a lot of your spare time hanging about with other comedians, but you will see them quite fairly frequently.
I do enjoy
do you notice that there's any kind of a difference between you and them, given your rural?
No, there's a lot of them. There's a few of them actually have farming connections or that. Ray Bradshaw, who does like both his parents were deaf and does sign language. One of his shows in sign language.
Wow.
I think his dad was either a farmer or brought up on a farm.
So I'm doing this show in British Sign Language. BSL. What year did that become an official language in the UK, do you think? It dates back to like the 1500s. What year do you think? Have a guess.
1482.
1482. Cool. When I said it dates back to 1500s, you were like, no, I've got a year, I'm happy. Okay. Generally, I've done this show about 35 times. That's the worst answer I've had.
There's a lot of, and I kind of envious them in a way. There's kind of young lads in their early 20s living in Glasgow, just doing their stand-up, and they're on the circuit now, and they're doing really well. I think a lot of folk thought it was an act, actually. It took them a while to think, like, is he actually a real farmer? No, they ask about the sheep and all that, and the lambing and everything. I've actually had a few stay over now and again, because I have to organise a gig at Blairgowrie once a year, so I have some of them staying, and I take them up the hill and all the rest of it,
Yeah.
see what they think. But
so you haven't had to buy yourself a new wardrobe of skinny jeans and stuff, so you can fit in with all these guys?
No, I'm well past the skinny jeans stage, I think. So, but that's why I like it, because they'll do their stuff and it's really funny, and then when I come on, it's just something else that's different. Thankfully, I mean, well, there's plenty of funny farmers, but thankfully they're not all trying to cut it to stand up, or else they'd get, that niche market's covered.
Yeah, exactly. Stay out. But no, seriously though, are there any other stand-up farmer comedians, or are you the first?
No, the great inspiration for me growing up was Colin Campbell, who was just a genius. I thought he did like local radio. It was called Colin Campbell's Local Radio Show, and he would go like to go, hello there, he says, welcome to Radio Tarith, and then he'd go, hello, welcome to Radio Betty Hill up here in Caithness, right enough.
We're swinging and a jingling through the day. Johnny Paulson's a lad to keep ye gay. He's completely tireless, so tune in your wireless till swinging Radio Caithness. Well, hello there. Hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome to y'all here till Radio Caithness.
I was listening to him when I should have been listening to Nirvana, basically. so now he's still he's legendary, but I don't think he was appreciated much really south of Stirling, So there's a few young farmers tried it actually, and there's guys I know that I would love to see do it, because they're really naturally funny people.
But they're not keen.
No, just they've got the confidence maybe in a party or something, but it's different going up on stage.
Well, it takes a lot of guts. I think it must have taken you a lot of guts to click submit on that first form for the stand, because it's putting yourself out there, and not everybody necessarily wants to do that, or can kind of see how they're going to cope with it down the line.
I think you've really got to want to do it to get through the fear.
And how do you feel about the kind of status that it brings, the kind of fame and the kind of sex symbol stuff? I know you're laughing, but it's serious, because you do have people who are messaging you on Twitter, should we say?
All these folk lasses with double barrel names. Tanny Lee. It's not so much folk messaging me directly. It's there's a few nice flattering comments on Facebook, when I put out like a farm diary or something, but nothing. I can't really say what they say, but you must read it more than me. I don't read. Morag's blocked me from reading.
Look, everybody, go and have a look. We maybe won't put it out on the podcast. But do you feel embarrassed, or you just kind of like take it on the chin and just?
No, well, I'm not really. It sounds big. I'm not going to say, hey, yeah, well, it's all part and parcel of the thing. I can handle it. No, I think if they saw me dressed like this, they would thank God. I think, to be fair, a lot of expat Scots appreciate it, and that's the beauty of the internet, and likes the farm diaries, and and especially because I usually put in that kind of Doric kind of accent, northeast accent, and it does appeal to a lot of folk abroad, and if they happen to be second time divorces for the Midwest America, so be it. Because I always think farmers are looked down upon, but there seems to be that kind of rug. I think they all think we're cowboys and just ride about on horseback, kind of wrestling a calf to the ground. Well, of course I don't do that.
But that actually raises... that actually kind of raises something else that I wanted to ask you, actually, because I think, and it was my husband who mentioned this. I said, I'm going to see Jim Smith. What do you think I should ask him? Because you listen to this podcast, what do you want to hear? And he said, well, actually, he said, like, if you are going to be serious for a bit, I consider Jim to be an ambassador of farming. Many people do have a misconception of what farming is really like. And by becoming the famous comedian farmer, Jim is actually highlighting what farming is, the fact that farmers are normal and that they're business owners and business people, not just, kind of chuchters who are driving around or riding around on horses. And so as much as, this is your career, I think you're actually doing a great service to the agricultural industry. So kind of just interested to see what you think about that as part of the role, which is maybe incidental.
Yeah, it is, because I certainly, I'm quite happy to help fight the corner along with the likes of Adam Henson, and especially This Farming Life. I think that's been fantastic, especially the last series with the Budge girls from Shetland and Raymond Irvin and guys like that. Just honest, hard-working people. That's why it's so popular, because folk want to know the people. I know it's cute, they've got the animals and all the rest of it, but, folk want to know the people, and we're not, and they do have that tarnished, we are labelled a wee bit of having that kind of thing. We all fly about in 4x4s and we've all got 12,000 acres and that kind of thing. And then there's the other side of it, like you'll see an advert for crisps or something and the guy's going about in an old Ferguson cabless tractor. Well, that's so I think trying to get the real. If I can help promote that farmers are actually okay, nice normal people, then that's a bonus,
Just as long as you're not creating the expectation that they're all really funny, because they're not.
No,
there's a fair few. But
you should do some of the most. I've met some lovely people, but they would look well in a Father Ted sketch, But then I've met some great characters too. We're very fortunate. You've got some great characters. A lot of who I've based my comedy on. So.
Naming no names.
I'll go. Hi, hello there, it's Farmer Jim here. Just want to say thanks for tuning in and taking a minute of your day and listening to the podcast and about farming and telling jokes like you can. It's been brought here on up in the farm like you can. Brings a bit of glamour to the lambing field like you can. Floss! Floss! That dumb dog.
Spot on. We came here to Jim's farm to record one episode of the On Farm podcast, but we've spoken for such a long time and had such a good blether that we've decided to split our chat over 2 episodes. So do make sure you're subscribed. Share On Farm with any Jim Smith fans that you might know. There's loads of them out there. And we'll be back with Jim next week for the second part of our chat.
Oh, also, can I plug I've still got tickets left for my gig at the Kings on the 27th of March. If you're wanting a wee pre-lambing, pre-tatty planting night out, and you missed my show last year, last chance to see it at the Kings in Glasgow on Friday 27th of March. See the Glasgow Comedy Festival website for details. See you there.